One quality the world needs more today.
Passion and empathy. That's two, but one for each of us, I guess.
Passion or comfort. This or that.
Passion.
This easy.
Impact or recognition.
Impact.
Purpose or profit.
Purpose.
Okay. Learning or winning.
Learning.
Hope, fear.
Hope.
Yeah.
The future belongs to the people who
Dream big.
young leaders today must learn to.
Talk and communicate and connect with each other.
Leadership without compassion is
Useless.
useless.
It is.
Yes. The past was all about speed and change and complexity, and future is all about how you align, how you adapt, and that is how you thrive. So in the line of fire with Saraj is not about academics. It's not about books. It is not about theories. It's not about frameworks. This podcast is about real experience, real leaders, real talks, and real insight. We look at five-dimensional approach. So one of the books I've written is Five-Dimensional Leadership. The first, you lead yourself, then you lead your family, then you lead your team. A family could be your group or your team as well. Then you lead your team, then you lead your business, then you lead your organization. So we get into this podcast from five different angles and talk to the people from that perspective.
Perfect.
I'm delighted to welcome Shreyaa Venkat and Esha Venkat in the line of fire CEO CXO series. Both of them are co-founders of the NEST4US, a global youth-led nonprofit movement focused on social impact, community empowerment, and youth leadership. What started from a kitchen table with her sister has now grown into a global movement powered by thousands of volunteers, creating meaningful impact across communities. Nest4U has led 500 plus workshops and summits, global leadership initiatives, cross-cultural initiatives, cross-cultural exchanges, climate conversations, food and hunger initiatives, and youth empowerment programs reaching thousands across the globe. Received recognition including United Nations Ambassador Award, George H.W. Bush Points of Light Award, Women of the Future Rising Star recognition, and multiple honors. I went onto your website and saw almost like 25-30 awards. For my viewers and for my audience, I also must tell you that I was invited in an award called CLC, which is given for the passion and collaboration in the field for the social impact. And that's where I met Shreya, and she was one of the winners. And that is how I got not introduced, but that's how I got to know her. Then I looked out for her on LinkedIn. I said, no, let's have somebody very young CEO, because I've been having more people with 25, 30 years of experience on the show. Shreyaa and Esha.
I'm Esha, the COO and co-founder as well. And we started volunteering and giving back from a really young age, even before we started our organization, Nest4US. I would say maybe when we were in elementary school, like our parents and our mom would take us along to volunteer with her at schools, at libraries, community events, even back when we were so young. And that was really when we were first introduced to this world of community. I know one of your principles is about family. And our family, like our parents, our grandparents, and all, like coming from India, they were immigrated in 2000, and they were always brought up with these ideals of service, and we always call it like sort of like a legacy of service, like a generational thing that has been passed down from generation to generation in our family. So being able to learn about what service is, what volunteerism is from our family was super important for us, and we learned like from a young age that this was something that we could do as a family that was super fun and enjoyable, and we got this feeling together of joy and humanity that you can't really get anywhere else. Like we played sports and we did so many things, like we had academics in school, but this was something different and something super unique that we had the opportunity to do that. Shreya will say we love the word opportunity, and we had that opportunity so young to give back, but we loved it so much that sometimes we would look around and we would see there wasn't a lot of other opportunities for other young people. We would see, we were sometimes the only young people in the room because our mom was in the PTA and all of that, and she could sneak us in. But what about other kids who looked like us, our peers, who wanted to volunteer and wanted to give back, but there wasn't opportunities available? You had to be over 18. You had to fill out all these forms. People thought they had to wait till they had a job or be a CEO with like 30 years of experience and all of that to make an impact. we thought of creating a space called Nest4US. It's not the big nonprofit that you see today. It really started as a simple project. We were writing notes, we were passing out food. We had our first program all around zero hunger. Really just trying to think of simple activities where people, if you're as young as 3, as old as 90, can all come together and give back, and really built this nest or this family or support system. And the for us part means for all of us. So that's why our name is Nest4US. We've had quite a journey over these 10 years, but still that initial joy and this idea of we really want opportunities for anybody to be able to serve and to give back, because everybody has that power within them. Yeah.
When, as Esha was talking about the idea of service being something that filled us with joy, filled us with passion, there wasn't an exact light bulb moment that made us want to transition from just purely volunteering to creating an organization. It was a buildup and a consistency of exposure that we think was so transformative for us, and is so transformative in the volunteers that we see today, in cultivating that opportunity and that space to explore your own passions, right? This is not something that we were told to do or that we were forced to do through a school project or anything like that. It was something that we as individuals felt connected to, and we had the support and we had the space to be able to explore those passions. And so instead of one trigger point, it was kind of a series of observations and moments and experiences that built into creating Nest4US. From the issue standpoint, Esha had mentioned our first program. We have 5 programs. We only originally started with one called Nest Nurtures, which is our zero hunger program. And that one was really one of the first issues that we noticed in our community, kind of the first gaps. So we noticed in our local communities, we're based in Virginia, which is just about an hour outside of Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. And when we would go to just sightsee, see the monuments, see the cherry blossom, all of those things, we saw all the sights, but we also noticed that there were a lot of people there who were living on the streets, who were hungry, who didn't have access to food. They'd hold up signs, they would be on the street corner, the traffic lights, so we'd see a lot of people who just didn't have access to food. On the other side, we would come home, we had a fridge full of food, we had in our community, of course, we also noticed a lot of people in our own community who didn't have the resources, but we also noticed on the flip side, there was so much food being wasted, whether that be in schools, in cafeterias, in restaurants, even on vacation. We still remember we took a cruise vacation a while back as a family, and we noticed there actually was throwing out entire trash bags full of bread.
We were like, where are they going? And they were like, we are taking them all to the trash. We were shocked.
Yeah,
absolutely
and so
shocked.
That moment has stuck with us, thinking, why are there so many people living hungry when so much food is being wasted? And so we wanted to do something to bridge that gap. And so that led to the creation of Nest Nurtures as the first program of Nest4US, in which one of the main components is something called food rescue, which is rescuing or taking the extra surplus food from restaurants, businesses, schools, community venues, and redistributing it or taking it from point A to point B to support those who are living hungry or who are food insecure. And so we've been able to, so that was one of our very first initiatives beyond the other simple activities that we were doing, but one that really allowed us as individuals to realize, oh wait, this is something that we have the power to do. And we, not only us have the power to do, but we have the power to bring along people to join us in this kind of movement to fight against hunger. And so we started with hunger. And we actually realized that maybe not everyone is interested in addressing zero hunger. Maybe they're passionate about other issues in the world. There's so many things happening, and everyone has their different issues that they're connected with. And so over, the next few couple years, we actually created 4 more programs and expanded or branched out the Nest to encompass our Nest Tutors Quality Education Program, Nest Cares Kindness Program, Nest Buddies Birthday in a Box or Celebration Program, and Nest Inspires, our Leadership and Development Program, to give people, again, those opportunities. You're going to hear us say opportunities a lot today. Give people the opportunities and the spaces to be able to explore what they're passionate about.
We were talking about how you lead yourself. That was the first dimension. Let's move on to the family. How does family feel about it?
Yeah. So as we mentioned, we started off very early on volunteering with our parents, specifically our mom. It was really great to have these amazing role models in our life who supported us since day 0 and are continuing to support us to this day, which is really, really great. So it's been really, really great to be able to do this as a family. And then, of course, being sisters and leading Nest4US together as sisters, comes with its own journey. A lot of people often say like,
how could you work with your sister? How does it work?
Do you all fight? Do you all Yes, we have disagreements, of
Yeah.
course. Yes, but we love each other. We understand
Good.
that.
I did not ask that question to you, and you're saying that.
Don't worry, people ask that all the time,
Yes.
and it makes me laugh.
Yeah, no, we learn and grow from each other so much. We each come with our own individual strengths and weaknesses that we're able to balance. So it's really nice to have, co-founder be your sister, because, for example, I like to say like public speaking is a great one. So Esha, I have always loved public speaking. She's really grown into herself and she's learned so many different things. She's been a commencement speaker, graduation speaker twice for her high school and for her college. So clearly she's a very, very good speaker, and she's very passionate and very, very powerful, has a very powerful voice. The same thing for me, Esha is very, very good at technology and editing and social media and all of that. For me, I didn't know much about that coming in. So I learned a lot from Esha. Even though she's the younger sibling, I learned so much from her. And one of those is using Canva and making, different Canva graphics and flyers and presentation slides. Those were all things that we learned together, learning and growing together. And so that's something that's been really special as sisters, to be able to do this, to continue to do the very thing that we enjoyed doing together, even back in elementary school, and continue to do it now, leading an organization and seeing other families and other friends coming and being able to have and share that same joy of service.
And I think it's cool too, because this show is about what CEOs and CXOs and all of that. And sometimes we think like a traditional role, like the CEO is the one that does all the speaking, the CEO is like behind the scenes day to day. But I think through our journey, it's really been cool to learn and be able to do, different things like outside of the role and responsibilities, and really learn from each other and try out new things. And especially being young and, being energetic and bright, like we're able to kind of bring that energy, bring that excitement and curiosity into all the things that we do. Like 10 years in, you would think, okay, like, are we getting tired of doing this? But it's really like exciting every day. Like new things are happening. There's always something new that's going on in the field, in life, like AI, technology, like all of these things are happening. And like, we're still growing as an organization, but as people, as sisters as well. Like, I love that you have the dimensions, because it really is growth in all of these different areas, and all of it has impacted us. And we would not be here today without like the support of us as sisters, speaking as like a CEO, COO, or whoever of this organization, and to be going through this journey. So it's all just,
I always tell people it's all in our mind, the way we look at you. You look at yourself very differently, and you look at your business very differently. And on your CEO point, I always say, don't keep in mind the CEO means somebody up there in the stars. It is one of us, right?
That's actually interesting. That's an interesting point, because actually this happens to us all the time at our events. People will come up to us and they might not know about us initially until we introduce ourselves. We'll be like, hi, I'm Shreya, I'm Esha, and we'll just talk about NEST4US. And they're like, you guys are the founders? Why are you here? Why were you here? And I'm like, why is that the first question that we're hearing? You shouldn't ask why someone in leadership is on the grounds working. For us, this is where we started. This is where we enjoy most. Of course, we love, doing the admin stuff and the speaking and all that. But for us, really where we find the most joy and fulfillment as leaders and as individuals is being out in the field, talking with our volunteers, learning about them, making so many friends, connecting with the families, understanding really what is going on in the community so that we can lead with all of that in mind.
Great. So let's move from family to the team, the larger team that you have. What is the leadership style that you think is important to bind people together? Because you've built and inspired many people who come and support you for the purpose. What are those 2-3 top leadership qualities that you exhibit, that you feel bring people together?
I think for us, what makes our organization NEST4US unique is just the breadth of opportunities and just the agency that we're able to provide all of our volunteers. Like when somebody feels supported and seen through the organization, like they're going to keep coming back, they're going to keep coming and volunteering, they're going to support us. And I think it really is because as an organization, we literally take in everybody. Like there's no discrimination. There's no we want every single person on our team. And we really just share that through how we market opportunities, how we get volunteers. Like genuinely, it's from 3 to 90, and anybody, all races, all backgrounds, from all walks of life.
What are those top 3 qualities that you feel bring people in? Oh, you were coming to that?
Yeah, and I think through the inclusivity aspect and like how we're very open-minded as an organization, but also as people to accept people as they are, both like if you're receiving resources or coming to volunteer. And I think leadership, sometimes people think it's very like you need to be like in the power, like you need to be like super uptight and super this and super that. But for us, we're very open and we want to be seen as, like Shreya says, just like a volunteer, we're putting in the work just as much as everybody else in our organization. But at the same time, we want to live true to our mission. We also provide volunteer opportunities and leadership opportunities for others because we really believe, I'm sure you know the boss and the leader, like the boss like being forward, but the leader being like carrying everybody forward. And that's really the kind of style that we want to showcase, is that we can't just preach, we want more young people to have leadership positions. Like we have an internship program, we have food rescue leads, we have program leads, we have all these ways that people can not just volunteer or serve, but also like lead their own projects and lead their own chapters. So I think being somebody that not just like says like this is what we do, this is what we do speaking, but also just showing it and actively being, hopefully leading by example for our volunteers, is a style that we try to approach. And more people are excited because they know that we have a vested interest and we can make a difference because NEST4US is giving me that opportunity.
The other
So let me
important,
push you further on that.
of
Sorry,
course, yeah.
Shreya, go. Yeah.
No, you're good.
So let me push it a little bit further. If I go to your volunteers and I ask them, what are those 2-3 things why you join Shreya and Esha and their purpose and their mission, what do you think they would say?
I think that's what it would be. So I think they would feel that, and we've heard this many times, is I had a lot of fun today. I that's like a big sentence that's really important because oftentimes service is seen, especially here in America, it's seen as something that is a checkbox, that is something you do for hours or
College application,
resume, whatever it might look like. So when someone comes and tells us, I had a lot of fun today, it shows that they understand that what they did today, they personally enjoyed. They found some sort of connection in, whether it be with the people that they were working with, the cause that they were working towards, the families that they were talking to. Maybe they learned a new skill. Something about it made them have fun. And so if they're able to relate what they're doing as something that is enjoyable,
Exactly.
as we were able to do
Yeah.
back in elementary school, that is a success for us. If someone comes and says, I got to give out 100 meals, versus someone who came out and said, I had a lot of fun volunteering today, I would feel that the person that came to us and said, I had a lot of fun volunteering today, took away a lot more out of the service. And so for
Exactly.
us, that is a big value component, not seeing service as a chore, but seeing it as a passion, seeing it as something that they connect with at a deeper level than just numbers or quantity or anything like that.
And I would say from
That's
another
great
unique
leadership
standpoint.
influence.
Yeah, I think that another example of how we sort of practice that, of a volunteer came up to us and said, we like, not just like the volunteer event is fun, but we as people hopefully are fun too, as we do things like we play music, like we have a Spotify playlist for all of our volunteers where they can add songs, like again, feeling like
Wow.
they're a part of the experience and building it and shaping it together. We play music, like we go around and we ask everyone's names. Like I love to remember names. I'm a very names person. So volunteers will come back like after a few months and I will be like, hello, and they'll be like, how do you remember my name? And I think recognizing that these people aren't just numbers, like we have 9,000 volunteers in NEST4US, but we try to
I was
remember
about to ask,
the names.
how big is the influence?
Yeah, so we have 9,000 volunteers, we have chapters from all over, but for us
9,000?
what's important, yes, it's not just about that number, it's about these people are our people, and like Shreya said, they're part of our nest. Like we want to know where, what are you doing, what school are you at, what sports do you like to play, like we want to like bond and connect. Literally at our event today, the event last week, like I was talking about football to one of the people for like 30 minutes. Like there are these things where it's not just about coming and volunteering and helping, it's like how can we connect as humans and just relate and make new friends and meet new people, and like that's something that we want to bring back as a culture. And I think as an organization, we really strive to, make volunteering accessible and inclusive, but also fun and relatable, and something that people feel like, I belong here. Like this is a place for me, and I feel accepted and I feel supported and
Even
I feel
just
loved.
by being there, even their presence is making a difference and is something that they feel like, I want to come back again.
Yes.
I want to, not that I have to.
What are those top programs that you have? One is the food.
Yes. So the Nest Nurture Zero Hunger program is all about food distribution, making sure people are not living hungry. Nest Tutors, quality education, focused on ensuring that everyone has access to an opportunity to learn and grow and thrive to their fullest potential, whether that be in academics, mentorship, whatever learning looks like to that individual.
And it's peer-to-peer, so it's student leadership who is leading that program.
That
Nest
is
Cares.
fantastic.
Thank you.
So-
Nest
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll finish up so there's 3 more programs. Nest Cares is our kindness program, a focus on everything about making kindness not a one-time action, but as a lifestyle. So notes of kindness, incorporating kindness into classrooms, good health and well-being, creating hygiene kits, things like that. Nest Buddies Birthday in a Box program about celebration, ensuring that kids, regardless of their socioeconomic status, can celebrate on their special day. And then Nest Inspires is our leadership and professional development program, which again is really providing this you had mentioned awareness plus action strategy that we use, this dual approach through Nest4US to ensure that people are informed about the actions that they're doing so they feel very connected to the causes that they're supporting.
Maybe sometimes I can do a webinar for your volunteers on 5-dimensional leadership.
Yeah,
Definitely. That'd be
absolutely.
awesome.
So, what's your plan for expansion? Where are you predominantly located? And what's your plan? How do you see the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. So like Shreya mentioned earlier, we're based in the DC area. So DC, Maryland, and Virginia is our primary home base for a lot of our in-person events. We also have different chapters and things with local high schools and things in the US. And we have some global chapters as well, where we work with grassroots organizations on the ground.
Tell us more
work
about
with
the global
workshops.
chapters.
Yeah, absolutely. We really believe, like, we obviously come from the US. We don't want to be imposing anything. We don't know the cultures and the countries as well as organizations that are already doing amazing work that aligns with the work that we do at Nest4US. So we try to reach out to these organizations and start a partnership, and we're able to support with workshops. We've done like academic resources, mentorship, and things like that as much as we can through whichever facet of our 5 programs. Like that's another cool thing is people can choose, like, I really like Nest Inspires. I want to do the leadership workshops. Like, sure, you can do that. Other organizations or other volunteers will be like, I really want to be a tutor. Like, I love education. I want to help with that. Like they can choose that. It's never like you have to do all 5 and like all of our sub initiatives. Like we have a lot going on. People can really pick and choose what they like. And that's how we've really seen our chapters and our global influences grow, especially during the COVID pandemic when everybody was isolated and in their homes, really like writing notes of kindness and things that you could kind of do like in the safety of your own homes, online events and things, and on virtual volunteering was something that really grew. And we saw a lot of our programs being really scaling in that end. So I would say those are some of the reach and their influence that we have right now. But as we said, we're in our 10th year. We say it all the time. Like, this is an exciting year. It's a celebration year for us. But of course, we're looking forward. We call it like the next 10, like nested for the next 10. And we're really excited for what the future holds. And I know for us, there's always like 2 main things.
We have a strategic future plans, a long-term plan, a short-term plan. The next 5 years, we are meeting after 5 years again.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 2 main things that we have 2 main things that we always look at. It's like we want to get as many more volunteers on our team as possible. Definitely over 10,000. Now that we're at 9,000, I'm pretty sure it's definitely a goal that's reachable. And then we also look on our other side, which we have resource provision, right? We talked a lot about our programs and really bringing together volunteers, but another very important part of Nest4US is actually providing the resources for families who don't have the means to afford these resources. So being able to reach and impact as many of those lives as possible is also just as important. I think is a huge part of our vision.
So we have
anything on the plate for anything on the radar for outside the US?
Yes,
India chapters for that matter.
Yes, so we are already working with several organizations and groups and all that in India. We ourselves have gone to India and done a lot of service as individuals as well, and continuing the work that we had done when we were there. And so this, again, as Esha shared, it looks like capacity building or skills building workshops, working with grassroots partners to maybe provide academic resources or food or other essential resources to these communities. I recently studied abroad in Tanzania, so I got to go down to Africa to take part and work with a lot of our pre-existing partners, but also a lot of new partners.
Already in Tanzania?
We have activations and efforts in over 30 countries across the globe.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yes, so
that's a great insight.
We definitely want to, of course, increase. That's always our goal for the future, is just thinking how can we scale, reach as many more people, volunteers, partners, global partners, organizations, restaurants, businesses, whatever it is. We always want as many people on our team in our net.
If someone from India, after listening to this podcast, is, and I want to get in touch with them, get some idea, get involved in some kind of purpose-driven work, What's the way out?
Yeah, so we actually have our holy grail, our website, www.nest4us, N-E-S-T, the number 4, US.org. And on that website, there are so many different things. You can learn more about our story. You can see more about our different programs and learn about the different sub-initiatives that are part of those programs. There's also an events page, which is a calendar of events for opportunities that people across the world can get involved in. And then also we have our volunteer portal. We just recently launched our volunteer portal, which is also part of our future strategy plan, is expanding that. And as part of that volunteer portal, where you can track your impact, so whatever opportunities you do, you put it in the portal and it gives you a report of all the service that you've done, which is really great. So the infrastructure aspect of service. But we also, in addition to that volunteer portal, within that, we've added different incentives and rewards, and we have a global recognition program that volunteers, again, from around the world can do service and get celebrated and recognized for the service that they're doing through the portal. So there's more information about that as well. You should also mention we have an internship program. So we've also been doing a lot with our interns and getting more individuals involved in the operations of Nest4US as well. Obviously, a lot of it's been volunteer-based, but also understanding how the nonprofit world works. And then we have a section, probably most important for those in India and across the globe, is our global partners tab under Join the Nest. There's a banner called Join the Nest. You hover over that banner.
And you can join that from anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world.
And even if you're not looking to volunteer, but you're a business who's listening, under Join the Nest, we have a section for businesses, corporations. We have a section for volunteers. We have a section for community groups. Like, we work a lot with schools, Girl Scout troops, sports teams, like hosting events. We call it
You want to give any message to the corporates to support you on this podcast?
Absolutely. I think it's super important for people. Sometimes you think like for profit, like we have nothing to do with social impact and community, but it's so important. And for us, I think especially like to give back to the next generation, like investing and supporting, especially young leaders and people who are really trying to drive more connection, more humanity back into our culture is so important. So for us, we really, in addition to that, like team bondings within employees, like we really want everybody to feel connected to each other. It doesn't just mean kids. It means people in corporates, people in schools, people everywhere. So we really believe if you're a corporate team looking for that bonding experience, this way to give back to your community, like we love to host events. We love to talk about the importance of service, serving together. And we've hosted a bunch of events with people like Amazon and Intact Tech and things like that. And we love traveling and meeting all the employee teams. And
I think that there's a great message. So CEOs and CXOs and business leaders who are watching this podcast at this point of time, you can call them for a webinar or for a talk, virtual or whichever way, to get people inspired. So that's exactly. One last question in this segment is, do you think that any student in any class, in any college, can spare some time to do some social work, some purposeful work? And if yes, what's your suggestions to them? Because I see people all the time busy. They have the test every fortnight, every month. No one has time. Do you think it is possible anyone can spare some time?
Yes, definitely. So something we always say is you don't have to have the time. You need to make the time to do what you're passionate about. And so again, the beautiful thing about service is it's not something that is a grand gesture that you do whenever you feel like it. It's part of your everyday. Service and volunteerism and philanthropy and charity, these are all things that are a lifestyle, their identity, part of you as a human being. And so we like to say, if, for example, you're interested in sports, think about how you can incorporate community engagement within that passion for sports. You can host a donation drive for sports equipment. You can, read books with each other, share and increase literacy, things like that. You can, if you're interested about cooking, if you really like cooking, you can cook meals and give it out to people on the streets. There are a lot of ways for people to connect what they're passionate about already and are doing as hobbies or learning in school. Connect what you're learning and what you're part of already to actions that are supporting the broader community.
Let's get into the next segment. Okay. This conversation is not going to stop, I tell you, but we're getting into the rapid fire. One quality the world needs more today.
Passion and empathy. That's two, but one for each of us, I guess.
Empathy.
I'm going to say intention.
You have compassion and you have empathy there.
And Esha said intention.
And that I like that. One of the ambitions that I have had, my purpose of life is unleashing talent, unlocking potential for optimal performance. So This entire episode is all about tapping into the gold mine of the knowledge and the skills and lived experiences, bringing it out, pushing it in onto the digital platform. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. You will have few options and you decide who takes first. Passion or comfort? This or
Passion.
that.
Passion.
It's easy.
Impact or recognition?
Impact.
Okay. A lot of people focus on recognition first. Purpose or profit?
Purpose.
Okay. Learning or winning?
Learning.
Hope, fear.
Hope.
Lovely. Okay, this one is a finish a sentence. Maybe you can do one by one or either way.
Yeah.
The
you shall
future
start.
belongs to the people who.
Dream big. Dream big.
Lovely.
And think big.
Okay. Young leaders today must learn to.
Talk and communicate and connect with each other.
Leadership without compassion is
Useless.
useless.
It is.
Yes. No, people feel it's not useless. Leadership without compassion is leadership with authority. Live
It's
with your authority in
nothing.
yourself. Now,
Yeah. You
Doesn't
must
go anywhere.
You need compassion.
society needs more leaders who
Who feel that they have the power to make an impact in their own special
make
way.
an impact. In fact, this morning somebody called me up from a distant city and said, people say a lot of great things, but when we work in the organization, we find that managers, leaders are mostly authoritative. Anyway, the next one moment during your journey that emotionally stayed with you.
This is a long one, so I'll try to be short. But when we realized that somebody that we had given out notes to for many years had kept every single note that we'd written over those years, and whenever he's having a bad day, he takes it out, he reads them, and it reminds him that there's somebody in his corner. So that's something that stuck out to us, that like these notes and the words and the work that we're doing is changing even one person's life, and that made all the difference.
Something that success taught you, which failure did not.
Ooh, that's a
That's a
I've
good
never been asked
question.
that question before. Something that's that if you pursue your passions, doesn't matter what anyone else tells you, and if you believe what you're doing is something that you're connected to and you believe is right, then nothing can stand in your way, and you can make a tremendous impact and inspire others to join along with you.
Any time when you felt it's enough,
That
Say it
sorry,
again?
what's enough?
time when you almost felt like giving up,
It's hard because I don't think we
I
ever
don't think
felt like
it
that.
ever-
we
I
never
think
looked back.
a transition period for us, we had two kind of big ones. One during COVID, the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of people were like, how are you going to continue? Is NEST4US, this is the end of NEST4US. For us, we never, NEST4US stopping or quitting or anything was never in the cards. We always had to think about how we are going to adapt. You mentioned adaptation a lot, right? How are we going to still keep our programming, but make it safe, make sure people stay healthy, make sure people are happy and still have the opportunity, but are doing it in a way that is adapting to this changing environment. So that, and then also the transition between us from high school to college, and then college to post-grad, and then post-grad to now, adult life and all of that. And so those transitions, navigating that together, were also moments
What
where we had
worries
great
you about
conversations.
the next generation? Anything that bothers you about the next generation?
I think right now with the increase of technology, sometimes people aren't really going outside because, everything can be delivered to our door, everything can just come here and we can stay inside. But I really do believe that young people need to be going outside, traveling, having new experiences, meeting new people. And the more that we encourage those sort of experiences with each other, not just with other young people, with older generations, learning from our past, our ancestors, our family, and all of that, and helping to carry that forward to the next generation is very important. Go outside, touch some grass.
There's a lot of information available today than we expected, right? So a lot of people at times feel confused or what to do, what not to do, and time passes by. Any message for people who sometimes feel confused or feeling lost?
Yeah. If you feel comfortable to talk to someone that you trust in your community, that you feel is able to understand you, and maybe you might, learn something from each other, and just taking that first step to talk and understand instead of just talking to just talk, right? It's very important to be able to develop those connections before you even go out and do anything, and listening and conversing.
Yeah, I
with
think
each
people
other.
feel confused because they haven't taken that first step. Like sometimes we get super overwhelmed because we're scared of like, what do I do? Where do I even start? But I think once you start something, like things become more clear as you go on that path. It's just that initial fear of like, do I make that conversation? Do I go out of my comfort zone? And I think once like you step out of it, it becomes more clear. Like, okay, I did it. Like whew, like I can breathe now, and then things kind of become more clear as you keep going. But it's really easy to get stuck in your head. I think just reminding yourself
Right,
day
right.
by day, step by step. Like our organization was not built in one day. It was years of work. And I think it was important to remember like day by day we're building and we're growing and we're getting like 1% better every day. And then that's how it is in your own personal life, in your organization, and so on and so forth.
True. There's somebody who's watching this podcast today and suddenly feels like I want to make an impact. What is the first thing the person should do?
Start local. People sometimes, like you said, get caught up in the recognition, caught up in doing something huge and grand. For us, like we saw our initial experiences in our school, that's literally where we started. We saw what was going on in our volunteerism as we were young, volunteering in elementary school, and we thought, we can get our peers involved, we can get our teachers, our friends. Like we were not already global in Tanzania and India and all these places. We like started right here in Virginia and DC, and then we slowly went from our school when we went to the neighboring schools. We would definitely recommend, if anybody is interested, student, teacher, business leader, whoever, like start with your employees, start with your team that's already around you, and then
Start with your
slowly branch out. Your
family.
family, exactly. Like they're the ones that are there who know you well and who they're just like not thinking so big, but of course dreaming big. But I think there's a thing where it's like think global, like work locally, or
Think global,
act local. There it is. Having those
Any
big
last
dreams but
message?
starting
Any
small.
last message from both of you to our viewers?
Follow your passion. Again,
I
regardless
love
of
that.
whatever people think about you, doesn't matter. If you are passionate about something, as Isha said, step out of the comfort zone, take that first step, and you never know how your life will change, like Nest4US has changed our life.
And I would say
That
something
is
else too. We talked about leadership, without compassion is just authority. And I think also passion without action, that's just a dream. And I think when you have dreams, it's great, but you also have to go out and act and be consistent and work hard. So I'd say when you marry that passion with like the consistency and the drive and the discipline and the devotion to what you're doing, like that's how you make impact happen. And again, starting small and starting where you're at and involving people, like you can't do anything without your community. So that's like the secret sauce. If we had to do like a equation to talk about how hopefully we've been successful, I think those factors have all impacted us, and with our volunteers and our family in our corner, like we were able to accomplish and take action against all of these different issues, and so
that
can
was
you.
so much inspirational, very, very inspirational discussion, very profound. So many insights. I'm
Thank
sure the
you.
young generation who are watching this podcast, who are listening to this podcast on Spotify or Apple, would definitely relate to what it means and get inspired. I truly appreciate your time today, and it was amazing talking to both of you. And for our viewers, I must tell you that we have Shreya and Asia who have really made big impact. 9,000 volunteers all around, and they're expanding every time. And you never know, they will be big in India as well and elsewhere. So wish you good luck for all your future endeavors. It was lovely talking to both of you. I truly appreciate your time. And once again, I thank you on behalf of our audience to be joining on this podcast. For our audience, this podcast will be available on YouTube. This will be available on Apple and Spotify and Amazon Music and all the other channels. This is In the Line of Fire with Saraj, real leaders, and we have them with us, real insights and real inspiration. Thank you so much for your time. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Hope to stay in touch. I did not ask you for coffee, water, or anything.